obviously, in the lead up to the Canadian election, there was a lot of tension with Trump saying that he wanted Canada to become the 51st state. And in fact, the Prime Minister, Mark Carney, essentially turned the tide of the election based on these threats from Trump. And so this whole visit from King Charles could kind of be seen as a way to reinforce Canada's position. And this is what the King had to say.
Canada faces another critical moment. Democracy, pluralism, the rule of law, self-determination and freedom are values which Canadians hold dear and ones which the government is determined to protect.
So kind of uneventful, kind of what you would expect from a tour that's designed to reinforce Canada against America.
Kind of ridiculous, though, don't you think? I mean, the whole thing about Trump making Canada the 51st state of the United States was always a joke. He was ribbing them about their need to pay their fair share. I'm just surprised that Charles took that seriously and gave it sort of that kind of gravitas when most thinking people realised Trump was just being Trump.
Well, the thing is, King Charles didn't actually write this speech. He was given the speech by the Prime Minister, and the Prime Minister's whole mandate for re-election was to be the anti-Trump, pro-Canada candidate. So he's now got to keep up this facade that Canada is under threat from the United States in order to maintain his political relevance, really.
Yeah, it's the same as when the Governor-General opens Parliament.
But he still chooses to read it. Have some self-respect.
No, I'm sorry. It is convention that he reads it.
Well, it's convention that you speak the truth. You don't speak rubbish because you've been told to.
You're making it sound like he's just there to be a...
I'm making it sound like he's the king.
He is essentially there to be a puppet.
It is convention that the king or the head of state or the Governor-General, in whatever circumstance, reads the opening of the Parliament from the government. It's not the words of the king. It's not the words of the Governor-General.
He should have rolled his eyes as he read.
Look, we've learnt that you have no regard for tradition tonight. You think it's okay to wear sneakers with your suit, and then you think it's okay to throw away all this tradition about how we open our Parliament.
It gets even worse because have a look at this clip from King Charles reading somebody else's speech, the acknowledgement of the traditional owners. Have a listen.
I would like to acknowledge that we are gathered on the unceded territory of the Algonquin and the Shinabeg people. It is my great hope that in each of your communities and collectively as a country, a path is found toward truth and reconciliation in both word and deed.
Hang on, so the king just sat there and said, I'm the king of unceded territory. So is that a dig or is it an admission that maybe he shouldn't be there?
Well, what does that make him? A conqueror? Like, I'm not exactly sure. And what legitimacy does he have now? And the fact is, Canada is even more clear than Australia because they've had treaties with the Indigenous people as far back as the 1700s. It is well documented. They've had an extensive history of land sales and treaties. So the whole thing is honestly preposterous.
Well, I mean, it was a humiliation ritual, really, that they put the king through there. And the sad thing is that he actually has to rock up and do it, you know.
Well, I think you just made my point for me.
No, but he's a figurehead. I mean, the monarch is always a figurehead. We know that. That's not new, James. But it's almost like at the same time as they're trying to use the king to send a message to the United States, back off, you know, you're not going to be one of us because we're not going to be one of you because we're part of the Commonwealth. While they're using the king to do that, they're at the same time humiliating him by making him say that he's on unceded land. I mean, you know, have some respect for the guy. If you want him to be useful for you and you want him to be useful, you've got to treat him with some respect.
So all of a sudden, Justin Trudeau's sneakers were not the most disrespectful part of that ceremony.
I think there were many disrespectful parts of that ceremony.
There were.
And honestly, it was so funny looking at all the reactions to this on X because I've never seen so many leftists supporting the monarchy as they are now. It's crazy to see.